It's good to be here. There's no denying that sustainability has become an important consideration for companies nowadays. Business as usual is not an accepted scenario anymore, as more regulations and market dynamics are driving the adoption of circular economy and sustainability measures. At a global and regional scale, we are seeing examples of countries, companies, and industries who are scaling sustainability through the adoption of different measures, be it waste to resource, byproduct valorization, energy transition, or others. This shift is not only environmentally or socially driven, but makes business sense. In fact, according to Deloitte, a transition to a circular economy has been estimated as potentially yielding $4.5 trillion in economic benefits by 2030. The same study estimated the creation of 700,000 new jobs, mostly in small and medium-sized enterprises, and millions in savings in energy and material costs. In Lebanon, we tell a different story. We have our own pathway where circularity is being shaped by unique factors, such as energy shortages that push industries to explore renewables and energy upgrades, or economic challenges that highlight the need for resource efficiency and recovery, and the growing sustainability standard that producers need to meet to access international markets, and the rising consumer demand for more ethical, sustainable, and low-waste products. For Lebanese SMEs, this seems hard to navigate. This large segment of the economy makes up over 90% of businesses in Lebanon and employs around half the labor force, representing a crucial engine for economic resilience, job creation, and innovation. But small and medium enterprises are drawn back by instability, by the economic crisis, energy shortages, talent leaks, a weak financial system, unstable regulatory landscape. With limited time, capital, and technical support, many SMEs struggle to move from short-term survival to long-term sustainability. Although the Lebanese ecosystem still needs support in terms of policy frameworks, financing mechanisms, and technical infrastructure that are crucial to scale circular models, we are witnessing the sustainable transformation of many SMEs and the success of programs and initiatives like TESSA that are designed and implemented by ecosystem enablers such as ICU and Beirut. Our discussion today will allow us to understand what circularity really looks like for Lebanese SMEs and how companies are finding practical ways to integrate sustainability in their operations. Before we dive in our conversation, let me welcome my guest speakers. We have Mr. Dario Mancinelli, the environmental sector expert at AICS Beirut, who graduated in economics and holds a master in rural development from the University of Copenhagen. Accumulating more than 10 years' experience in economics, business, and agricultural development in countries in Africa, the Middle East, and Eastern Europe. He's currently the environmental expert for AICS in Lebanon and Syria, and supervising and coordinating initiatives related to agriculture, energy, water, solid waste, and environmental management that is also applied to the private sector development. Welcome. Dr. Mazen Khattab is the strategic lead, SME development and circular economy policy expert. He's currently leading the development of Lebanon's national green and circular economy policy framework under the Green Forward project. He has expertise in circular economy strategies, sustainable resource management, and green value chain analysis. He worked with SMEs and businesses, and he provided capacity building services to SMEs across the MENA region. Mr. Saad Maakaroun is the co-founder of Green Assets and Green Wheels. He's a mechanical engineer. He worked in the steel industry for 10 years in equipment manufacturing, in software development, construction, and he commissioned steel plants in the Far East, Europe, and Africa. When he returned in Lebanon in 2016, he activated Green Essence, now a market leader in renewable energy and energy efficiency. In 2022, he launched Green Wheels, a sister company offering sustainable transportation solutions in the Bekaa region. Welcome, Dr. Mazen. Welcome, Mr. Saad. So my first question is to you, Dario. We know the economic constraints in Lebanon. Why is it still important to support SMEs in their circular transition? What long-term value does this investment bring?
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, now yes. Thank you for the question, and hello everyone. I believe, actually we all know that SMEs are the engine of the economies in every country. Italy has 75% of the companies are SMEs, and they are considered the backbone of the economy. Lebanon, as you just mentioned, 90%. It's not SMEs are not Ferraris that just go and start quickly and go to the end very fast. It's a difficult path. In Lebanon, in particular, in this period, in these past years, we have seen all the challenges that all the SMEs met, that everyone faced. On the other hand, SMEs are they embody the innovation, the ability of adapt to the new challenges, to the new situations. And the working towards sustainability, it's a key factor. We have seen that, as you mentioned, the problem with the electricity or the problem of importing resources from abroad. Working on the sustainability, internal sustainability of the company, it's fundamental because it allows them to avoid or to manage themselves in this container, while on the other hand having a positive impact also on the community in terms of waste, in terms of waste management, in terms of labor, and in terms of health. So it is fundamental to work on this. Of course, it's an investment. It's important to do an initial investment that will lead to a future gain, let's say. But SMEs are this. There is an initial investment for something that we'll see in the future. So it is important. The only issue that I would see is that this development, this path towards sustainability has to be managed anyway. We've seen with electricity, for example, there was a boom of solar panels and batteries, not always of the best quality, and that, which may lead to issues in the future. Yep. So we have to manage also in the long term. Yep. Our expectations.
I like what you said, that they're not Ferraris, actually, and they find that sustainability is sort of a buzzword. And here I'm asking you, Dr. Mazen, but behind this buzzword of sustainability lies a great potential for SMEs' survival and growth. What are the simple circular tools or strategies that have been most accessible and impactful? Are there sector-specific approaches that rise? No.
Okay, thank you for the question. In terms of SMEs, okay, as my colleague said, it's not a Ferrari that you drive. Some SMEs could actually adopt very simplistic issues, such as optimizing the use of energy, such as working on the model of repairing and reusing, such as sourcing local products and so local materials. So SMEs could actually work on using recycled material for their offices and their production. They can look at ways of reducing their energy consumption through using, for example, different type of lighting or maybe even motion sensors. They can think about how they can refurbish the way they do their transportation and how they deliver their things. And yes, of course, it differs from one company to another depending on the sector. So for example, if we're talking about food industry, we can think about byproduct valorization, we can think about sustainable packaging. If we're talking about manufacturing, we can think about remanufacturing issues, maybe reusing, upscaling, and so forth. Now, all of these strategies, or let's say measures, whether complex or not, they lead to a similar result depending on the company. So on one side, it helps with the cost reduction and the savings, and on the other hand, it helps the company to be more sustainable and grow. Now, regardless of what the company chooses to move with, the nice thing to know is that going through sustainability does not have to be a big rock that you push from the beginning.
Exactly.
It does not have to be a big uphaul from the start. You can actually phase it. You can go and focus on one or two elements and then build the way forward. And no matter what approach you take, there's one important component that SMEs should take into consideration. It's that they need to collect data. The data is going to be used for measurement, for KPIs, because this will help them, first of all, know how they're moving, and it will build their, let's say, learning curve forward.
Yeah, amazing. Mr. Saad, it's often that we link sustainability to renewable energy. It's sort of the low-hanging fruit on the tree, and it's very important. We know that the sector is continually evolving with so many innovations and possibilities. What are the upcoming trends that Lebanese SMEs can benefit from?
Thank you, Nathalie. From what we see, many industries, many of our clients have already used solar, and now they are investigating improving the efficiency at their factories, upgrading their equipment, and in some cases, some of our customers have extra energy. During solar days, we have many solar days in Lebanon, so they started to think of many ways of how to use this energy. So some of them are expanding their production. Some of them are adding equipment that converts energy to some product, for example, drying fruits or vegetables. In some cases also, we've seen, in our case, for example, my office, we converted part of our fleet to electrical because we have extra solar. So now we do transportation and delivery to customers with EVs for free. We have some clients also trying to do this. So I think this will be the next phase for people who already have solar. They will increase their solar. They will try to use solar in a more effective way, try to self-consume this solar energy, and also at the same time upgrade their equipment and reduce the consumption to save more.
So energy, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and then innovation in the way you use this energy. Mr. Dario, what type of support has made the biggest difference while helping Lebanese SMEs take extra step towards circularity?
Okay, in terms of what kind of funding mechanism, I don't think there is one specific, one magic funding mechanism, yes. But it has to be a balanced combination. Of course, it depends who we are working with, but it's a long path that can start. Maybe can start with a grant that is with a donation, like a grant that is donated, let's say, to the small company. But this is not sustainability. So what we ask is not sustainable, and what we ask ourselves is how do we make this change sustainable, and it's not creating a dependency. And this is probably done through the involvement also in terms of funds of the company and of the community in general in the development activities. So it has to be an investment. An investment that is done together and that we can facilitate. Facilitate in terms of funds, partially, in terms of technical assistance, from many points of view. Keeping in mind that we are not teaching to the SMEs. The SMEs know very well what they're doing. And they probably know better than most of us what are the mechanisms and the things that can work. So it's a path that we need to take together. And the financial part is, of course, important, but I believe that the sharing the risk and is part of the key of the sustainable development.
Exactly. I want to tackle the ecosystem from your perspective, Dr. Mazen. How can the existing ecosystem support the transformation of SMEs and industries and enable their sustainable transition?
Well, building on what my colleague just said, SMEs are not an island. They are within an ecosystem and there are different stakeholders. The thing is here how to elevate and how to leverage on that. So the ecosystem can actually support SMEs by providing specialized coaching and mentorship. It's true they know what they do, but they need this extra push on one side. The other important aspect is having the adequate financial tools, whether it's green bonds, loans, or whatever. Another point is that you need to foster collaboration between the different types of businesses through facilitating communication with NGOs, with universities, with bigger businesses. And also at the end, you need to start advocating for the adequate framework or regulatory setup that will help these SMEs grow. So it's a whole system that needs to move together. Now, let's take one example. If we consider the Chamber of Commerce and Industry as an actor, that institution can actually support businesses by providing information about technologies useful for circularity and sustainability. The best new technology, the best practices, so on and so forth. They can actually support businesses in connecting with each other. They can provide training and capacity building on a specialized level. They can help the businesses export, so cross-border trade, how to be actually adequate for it, because a lot of countries, they have some guidelines, so maybe the chamber can help them. And finally, they can help them or pinpoint at least some of the financial tools that can benefit these SMEs.
And that's an example of one ecosystem actor that's
that
providing.
That is one example.
Exactly.
We have so many other that we can actually leverage on.
Exactly. Mr. Saad, I know you're fascinated by Lebanon's distributed renewable energy law and the kind of opportunities it will bring to Lebanon and Lebanese SMEs. Can you tell us a little bit about the law itself and how, in your opinion, it will pave the way for more technology adoption in the renewable sector?
Okay, the distributed renewable energy law, in my opinion, I think well, first, I think it will create many opportunities for investment in the energy sector. But I think most importantly, it will empower the current energy consumers to become producers or prosumers, and it will allow anyone who has some roof space under the sun to be able to participate in a kind of rebuilding our national grid. So, for example, for some of my clients who already have surplus energy, they will be able to sell this energy to any other company in Lebanon, individually or as part of a group. This will also help. It will also help some clients to find cheaper sources of energy, because currently it's very expensive. It has to come from either EDL or local solar or diesel fuel. But in the future, they can buy it cheaply from somebody producing cheap energy somewhere in the suburbs or north of Bekaa or South Lebanon, where land is cheap, there's abundance of solar, and the lands are connected to the grid. So yes, plenty of opportunities for smaller institutions, smaller companies to be able to make some extra income from buying and selling energy.
So energy will become cheaper and more accessible to everyone.
In the long run, yes. In the long run,
Exactly.
definitely, but not maybe at the beginning.
Exactly. This is my final question to each one of you gentlemen. Mr. Dario, if we look ahead, how can the Lebanese SMEs benefit from green financing mechanisms? We're hearing a lot about this. What role do you see for partnerships between the local institutions and the private sector?
Okay, as mentioned before, very often the initial investment in the shift towards this sustainable way of working or sustainable production can be quite substantial. Green financing is aimed at help this push. So supporting the companies, especially, I mean, a small and medium enterprise, but also big enterprise where the costs are even bigger to do this shift, to start at least this shift towards sustainability. And we've seen more and more donors, international donors, but also banks and financial institutions in general providing more and more funds for this shift, this green transition. Of course, the role of the partnership between the private sector and the institutions is fundamental, because whether we like it or not, the institutions are the enabling actors that can allow or can maybe not allow, but can support a proper sustainable transition. Acting alone would be Don Quixote fighting with the windmills. It's a fight we cannot win. Because there will always be some problems at some point along the pathway. So we need to find, it's complicated, we know, in Lebanon, as in Italy, as in any other country, but is the key aspect.
Yeah, and it will reveal a lot of opportunities in the future, I guess. Dr. Mazen, even when SMEs do adopt circular measures in their production or in their processes, they're often drawn back by a green skill gap. How can SMEs upskill their workforce?
The name of the game is building a learning culture. And this is where also the ecosystem and the different stakeholders come into force. But first of all, if I have a lack of green capacity and skills, I need to help these SMEs bring forth and bring in people with expertise, train them so that those people train others. So this is where knowledge sharing comes into part. There's also the part of capacity building that my colleagues and I repeated, so on and so forth, because we cannot emphasize enough on that. So you have specialized capacity building, you have mentorship, you have coaching, you have on-the-job training when you do pilots and you learn from it. And you have the different coordinations that you get. And of course, you can find a lot of resources nowadays online, and we can read a lot of white papers to learn about how things happen. Now, again, capacity building is a key component of going green and being sustainable. For example, in the project that I'm currently leading with the Ministry of Industry, we're going to focus on the component of capacity building because we need to create the culture of learning in parallel to creating awareness for the whole public. So we can all, as stakeholders and people living in this country, so we can move these things forward all together.
So if you set your mind on it, you can get there. The resources are there.
The resources are there. Don't, I always tell the SMEs, don't be afraid about the magnitude and the size. Start small, build it forward, and we're here to support. Just make the decision. It just takes 1 minute of courage to make the decision.
Exactly. Mr. Saad, what is the next milestone for SMEs after adopting renewable energy and energy efficiency in their operations? What does the future look like?
More of the same? Okay. So for clients who already have solar and they're already on an evolved path in energy efficiency, we noticed that some of our clients who are at this stage, they see every summer that they have extra solar energy, and they will want to use it somehow. So now now it's about energy management at this stage. You have extra solar, you want to use it in-house because you cannot export it because there's no grid. So one way to do this is to add production or optimize your operation so that you can run during the day when there is abundance of solar and store more maybe in thermal or in a battery, in a like hot water tank, in a cold water tank for cold storage. We already have examples like this in the Bekaa especially. So yes, it becomes more of an energy optimization. We call these clients prosumers because they do production, they do consumption optimization. But I think in the near future, especially if the government finds a way to implement the DRE law, it will allow these customers to exchange this extra energy when it's available to somebody else who needs it somewhere else on the grid. Yes, and also electrifying part of the fleet is also a possibility. And one interesting example is for our clients who has farms. They have solar water pumping solutions. They are completely disconnected from the grid. And in many days when they don't need to do irrigation, these solar panels are sitting there, standby, not doing anything. So there has to be some kind of innovation to make use of this energy. Maybe either sell it on the grid when the grid is connected, or perhaps somebody will come up with something else to maybe store this energy on a mobile battery, for example, and go sell it somewhere else for someone who needs it. There is potential to do this. This is free energy collected from the sun, and somewhere else somebody is paying today at current rates about 40 cents, 45 cents a kilowatt hour. So plenty of money making to be had. So these are ways I think will come in the near future.
That's amazing. Gentlemen, I want to thank you for the time you've put on this panel. It's been incredible listening to you, and thank you for the audience.